Hi there folks, my name's NovaWrap and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for simulation release news and goings on from the week that was. So here we are on the 2nd of July 2017 for another episode, and it is a fairly quiet episode this week. So of course, being that time of the summer, sort of Northern Hemisphere summer, we tend to not see a huge amount of releases at this time of the year. We sort of see, this is sort of the second quiet period of the year. We sort of see it go a bit quiet around sort of Christmas, sort of just after Christmas, and we see it go quiet about in the middle of the year like it does at the moment. But nevertheless, I am here to bring you the scant few releases that did make their way out this week, and we are getting started this week with one for the XPlane Universe. So this is a release from Kamsin Studios. So this is the de Havilland Canada Chipmunk DHC-1, and I must say, I love the Chipmunk. I think it's an awesome little aeroplane. It's got some great history in it, and the fact that especially because it's designed to replace the Tiger Moth, an aircraft that itself outlived its first two replacements, and served very well as a primary trainer aircraft for many Commonwealth forces, and then it went into civilian hands, of course, and can still be seen at many air shows around the world. And as I said, I just love it, and it's really great to see a really high quality rendition of this aircraft making its way into the X-Plane world. So as I said, this one is available for both X-Plane 10 and X-Plane 11, and I must say the X-Plane 11 one is looking absolutely outstanding with the graphics that X-Plane 11 has. As I said, available now from the xplane.org store, coming in at $20 or your original equivalent. Looking quite outstanding. I really do enjoy it. And coming in 3 liveries, mostly Air Force ones. Hopefully they might do a one which is perhaps more of a civilian orientated one later on. We're not sure. Maybe we'll see some civilian modifications to the cockpit for those that made their way onto the Warbird circuit after retiring from the military. But who knows? You never know. But for now, it is just the military trainer cockpit with fully animated and fully functional both cockpits, both front and rear, for both the trainee and the instructor. So, as I said, if you do want to add this one to your X-Plane hangar, it's available now from the xplane.org store, coming in at $20 or your original equivalent, available now. In other flight simulation releases this week, but moving now into the ESP world. So the guys over at Aerosoft have released their latest airport. So this is Roma Ciampino Airport. So this was actually the original international airport serving Rome back in the in about 1916, sort of around the time of the First World War. It would be used as a military airport, sort of combined civilian and military airport, and go on to do that throughout for many years. However, once the Rome Fiumicino airport opened in the 1960s, it pretty much fell into disuse as far as civilian aviation went. So simply because Fiumicino was, of course, a lot closer, a lot more convenient to Rome itself. So yeah, it just didn't really see a lot of civilian traffic, and reverted to being primarily a military base. However, with the rise of the low-budget carriers in the sort of late 90s and then the 2000s, the airports were seen to resurgence in civilian traffic, as the lower landing fees offered by it are very attractive to low-cost carriers such as Ryanair and Wizz Air, so to be able to operate out of. So now, of course, being a destination, a major hub destination in the real world, has of course come to a beautiful rendition of it, has now made its way into the simulated world. And of course, this is another one of the high-quality releases that we see supported by the team at Aerosoft. Now, this comes not only with the beautiful high-quality textures and models of the buildings, of the actual airport buildings that we've come to expect from Aerosoft airports, but it has also the Ciampino township in the surrounding areas have also been beautifully modelled with customized autogen, customized textures, and a custom terrain mesh for the area as well. So looking absolutely stunning, including, as I said, including both residential and industrial areas immediately around the airport. And as well, we're also seeing it really making use of a lot of the things that the SODE's sort of software suite can really do for terrain and scenery add-ons for the ESP platforms, including some beautiful night textures and night lighting effects, as well as animations on the actual runway, including various jetways and of course animated windsock variations on the airport as well. But the really interesting one that's got here is that, as you see from the approach plates for the airport, that the actual PAPI lights, the left PAPI lights for runway 33, are not aligned as they are in most other airports. And this has actually been reproduced and recreated especially for this airport, and using using features from SODE. So as I said, looking absolutely amazing, complete with seasonal variations of the terrain as well, automatically done. As I said, looking absolutely amazing for this one. So if you do want to have an alternative destination landing point to get to Rome, you might want to think about grabbing this one. Coming in around about $25 available now from the Aerosoft store, available now. And continuing on with other simulation scenery releases this week for the ESP World. So the guys over at Richer Simulations have released their Barbados 2017. So this is a Richer Simulations sort of specialize in scenery packs for the Caribbean islands. And they've continued on with that theme with this release of covering the whole of the island of Barbados in a beautiful half-meter per pixel photoreal terrain resolution for all 431 square kilometers of the island, complete with beautiful custom 15-meter terrain mesh for this one, and over 750,000 hand-placed customized autogen trees, buildings, and lights. And I must say that the night lighting does look pretty damn spectacular. It really does. The complete with surrounding reef textures, as well as the scenery, as well as the actual photoreal of the land. And what's cool is that they do have seasonal variations. Yes, the Caribbean does actually have seasons, and they are reflected in these photoreal scenery, so it's looking pretty amazing. The one quirky thing about Richer Simulations, they've done this before in other releases, and they seem to have done it here again, is that they do this beautiful, detailed, amazing photoreal representation of these islands, and then do nothing with the airport. I'm like, really? What the hell? Like, we're gonna fly there. We kind of want something nice to fly out of. Would be cool if you're gonna do up the entire island. Maybe do, the airport too. Just throwing it out there as an idea. Anyway, but as I said, it's still looking pretty damn spectacular. If you do love your photoreal scenery. And as I said, for me though, the night lighting is one thing that really looks quite spectacular on this one. But yes, this one's available now from the Sim Market store, coming in at about $20, the original equivalent, available now from Sim Market. Alright, and continuing on with ESP platform releases this week. So, okay, so I'm covering this one because it is a new release. I am going to let the screenshots that you are seeing scroll through while I talk about this to let you know whether or not it's worth the price and whether you should be buying it or whether it should basically be really... Anyway, yeah, okay. So AFS Design have resurfaced, and they have released their Airbus A350 for all of the ESP platforms, so FSX, FSX Steam, and Prepared. This is their updated version of it too, so it's the full family, including including 4 passenger variants and a freighter variant. So you get the A350, 800, 900, 900R, and 1000 for the passenger variants, as well as the 900F freighter variant. Yeah, as I said, I'm putting this in here because it is a new release, and I'm going to let you decide if paying the $20 for it is worth it. I'll let you guys decide. If you do want to pick it up, it is available from Sim Market for $20 or your original equivalent, available now. Alrighty, and rounding out the simulation releases for this week, we're going to go back down to ground level with OMSI 2. So, I'm not even going to try and pronounce this pack. Okay, you know what, I will. The Ki Farzerg pack. Okay, basically, long story short, it's basically an AI pack. It's an AI traffic pack for the bus simulator OMSI 2. Which is, it sounds kind of weird, but it is kind of interesting. So, as we're all driving about, as we get about in our daily lives, we see that there is not just cars on the road, and cars and buses on the road. There are more than that. There is construction vehicles, there are road sweepers, there are garbage trucks, there are trucks, there are car carriers, there are all plethora of vehicles that populate the roads of the world. And this pack goes a long way to actually trying to actually bring some of that to the OMSI 2 world by adding in 9 new vehicle types to give you something a bit more interesting to actually not only visually see on the road, but also to have the challenge of actually sort of interacting with this AI while you're on the road. So you sort of, be careful of, the plodding speed that they go through and make sure you pass them safely and things like that. So it's kind of interesting and kind of cool addition to the OMSI 2 world with this one. So yeah, not looking too bad. As I said, none of these vehicles are user drivable. They are all AI only, but they are very, very performance orientated models, so you shouldn't have too much of a performance hit. Comes with full compatibility with all the default and all the official OMSI 2 maps, as well as a selection of the most popular add-on and user created content maps as well. So really nice to see that they're actually supporting user-based content with this one as well. But yes, as I said, available now. You can either pick this one up direct from the Aerosoft store, direct from the publisher, or coming in all from Steam, coming in at around about $13 or your regional equivalent, available now. Alrighty, folks. Well, as I did say, that does wrap up the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, folks, as I said, it was a fairly short news, sort of new releases week this week. Not a great deal going on. However, there are a lot of sales going on. So it is not just the Steam summer sale going on. There are a whole heap of sales going on. So there are sales going on over at Sim Market. There are sales going on at FS Pilot Store, at the Aerosoft Store. There's basically sales going on everywhere at this time of the year, especially given that it is the 4th of July weekend, long weekend for the US, so a lot of places do put some special sales on that at the moment. So yeah, just keep an eye out for some pretty cool sales. There might be something going on special that you've been holding off getting for a while. It might be the time to get it for you now. And as I said, have a check out your latest, your favorite simulation supplies online retailer and see what specials they've got to have going at the moment. Alright, folks, well, thanks very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And, of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.